1,300 is the number of metric tons of carbon dioxide that has been released into the Earth's atmosphere since I began speaking. That's not a lie. In just mere seconds, over 1,000 tons of CO2 is released into the Earth's atmosphere, and each ton of carbon dioxide contributes to the world's greenhouse effect, which warms our climate with every ton added. If this sounds concerning, that's because it should be. Nearly our entire country's energy grid is dependent on the burning of fossil fuels to light our homes and to run our factories. If only there was an energy-dense option that was carbon-free. And what if I were to tell you there was? Nuclear energy. It admittedly sounds scary and it sounds intimidating, but I think if you could maybe ignore your bias for the next 5 to 7 minutes, I think I could change your mind. In this presentation, we will cover the environmental impacts, or lack thereof, of nuclear energy, its economic benefits, as well as its place in the world of geopolitics. So let's put on our hazmat suits and let's get into it. The truth is, nuclear energy produces absolutely zero carbon emissions. That's not a lie. The smoke you see billowing out of the convex-shaped cooling towers isn't smoke at all. In fact, that's water. It functions as a means of producing pressure to rotate a turbine by boiling water through nuclear fission. Because this process uses nuclear fission, it's almost indescribable how efficient this process is. In fact, according to the Department of Energy, it is nearly 8,000 times more efficient than coal. A single pellet of uranium has the same energetic potential as a metric ton of coal. So the truth is, it's a wildly efficient process. And don't let the images scare you, because if you do, you might be afraid of clouds. If nuclear energy is so efficient and so clean, then surely there has to be some downside. Maybe it costs a bit of money to burn. If that's where your mind went, I'd understand, but I'd also tell you that you're wrong. In fact, nuclear energy is rather inexpensive. According to the Energy Information Administration, it costs roughly $30 to a megawatt hour, which, again, compared to fossil fuels, which can be upwards of $230 to a megawatt hour, that's inexpensive. Just $30 of nuclear energy is enough to power the homes of up to 700 families. So the fact is, it's a wildly efficient process, and across the globe, there are many countries, including large superpowers, who are shifting towards nuclear energy. Large superpowers like Russia and China are also working towards the development of nuclear technology. According to the World Nuclear Association, 31 countries across the globe generate electricity from nuclear energy, but there's one who really hasn't put that foot in the door. That's us, the United States of America. If we want to keep up with the rest of the world, and we don't want to be left behind, then it's almost a no-brainer. We need to begin working towards the development of the infrastructure for nuclear facilities. Nuclear facilities. There are at least 3 whose names are burned in the back of the heads of every person alive today: Chernobyl, Fukushima, and 3 Mile Island. And it's understandable why, but let me give you some context. Chernobyl was a 1986 Soviet reactor which was operated by an undertrained crew in a country who actively concealed the disaster from the rest of the world. That's not how modern nuclear technology works. Today, there are multiple redundancies put in place, and a reactor today is incapable of producing a nuclear explosion. As for Fukushima, despite being hit by one of the world's largest earthquakes, which was followed by a tsunami, the radiation from the explosion killed exactly one person. One person. Meanwhile, fossil fuels kill an estimated 8.7 million people annually. So, while fossil fuels are killing us slowly, nuclear energy sits feared for disasters that could not be replicated today. So, after we examined the environmental impacts, the economic benefits, and its place in the world of politics, I hope you can take something away from this, because the truth is, we are rapidly heading towards a global catastrophe. Since this presentation began, over 400,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide was released into the Earth's atmosphere. Large numbers don't really mean much if there isn't a good way to comprehend them. So to paint this picture clear, that much carbon dioxide is enough to fill over 200 Empire State Buildings. People hold the power to make a change, and that starts by recognizing that one is needed. I hope you can take something away from this, and thank you.